Hey guys, it's Katie. Today I'm working on a little project over actually the next few days. I thought I would bring you along because I'm super excited about this. I have some Forsythia branches here and I'm trying to force them to bloom. And I never thought about it, but it makes a lot of sense. I knew you could force spring bulbs, I just never knew that you could force other spring flowering like trees and shrubs. But the lady who cuts my hair, last time I went into her salon, she had a whole bunch of these blooming Forsythia branches, and she says it's something that's very common for Chinese New Year. And she has a friend gave her a few branches, but she wishes she had more. So when I told her I had a Forsythia bush, she got really excited for me to bring her some Forsythia branches next year. But I just cut a few off. These are 2 days they've been sitting here, and I'll show you some up close footage. But when I first cut them, all of the buds were like this. They're brown, and they're kind of small. Let's see if I can get it to focus. But they're all brown and they just look very dormant. This wants to focus on the pattern of my countertop there. But that's what they look like. But over the last few days, a lot of them have greened up quite a bit. You can see like these ones here are pretty green. And some of them are even beginning to open. This one up here is a really good example. And I don't know how it's going to show up on camera. In the viewfinder, it looks like that tip is very yellow, like that's blooming already, but it's not. It's green. It's not even close to yellow, really. But they are definitely, it's waking up, which I think is totally cool. So I was reading about this. You can do this with all kinds of spring blooming branches, like apple branches. I do have an apple tree, but it's so sad and spindly. I don't have a single branch to spare, and I wouldn't want to like force those just for blooms because then I'd get less apples. If I had like a bunch of apple trees and needed to prune them anyway, then I would cut some apple branches, but I don't want to cut my apple branches. But I do have a lilac bush that's spring blooming, and I was always told when you're pruning your lilac to do it right after it finishes blooming because the buds set right away. I never really thought about that the Forsythia buds are already there in the winter, but they're just waiting for warm weather and long day length to start blooming. So anyway, I'll just give you a few more shots, some up close. I'll show you these over the next couple of days. I'm gonna run outside and just cut just a few. Usually there's some branches that need to be cut back anyway because they're over a walkway. I'll find some lilac blooms too and see if I can get those to force. That would be awesome because I love my lilac bush. That was actually my husband got for me for our first anniversary, which was our first year here in this house. He got me a lilac bush, and every time it blooms I think of our love. Alright, that's enough for me. I'll be right back. Alright, so here's the lilac branches. I just cut a few. Like I said, I don't want to lose my blooms outside so much. But yeah, these ones their buds are already starting to green up. So that's pretty promising. You can see that this main branch is older, but these branches must be new growth from last year because you can tell by the way the color of the bark, I guess, is. But lots of buds. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see how these turn out. I cut these with scissors. I cut the Forsythia with scissors too. I probably should have used loppers for these. You can see I kind of hacked that one to pieces. But these bigger branches probably would have been better with loppers. But the Forsythia have thinner branches, so just plain scissors, like utility scissors will work. And I cut them sort of at an angle like you would do for a rose. You know, when you trim the end off of roses, they say to do it at an angle. It gives you more surface area for it to take up water. I've also even seen where they will cut up the length and even bash it with a hammer to open up as much surface area. That's what they said to do for the Forsythia, but it seems to be fine the way it is. I'm actually just going to stick these in here with that and look like I have a bouquet of sticks. We'll see how this turns out. Very excited to try this out. Alright, we'll keep you updated over the next few days. Alright, so here's a look at the flowering branches. It's day 4 for the Forsythia. See, there's quite a bit of yellow going on. Most of the buds are at least starting to green up and open. You can see here. And I'll show you some clips of what it looks like outside still, because it's still very dormant outside. So that's the Forsythia. See quite a bit of yellow. And then the thicker branches with the bigger buds are the lilacs. And they really greened up and are opening. They were a little greener to begin with. It's day 2 for the lilacs, but they had more green on them when I brought them in. Alright, so here's a look at the Forsythia and the lilac branches. Yesterday I took just a short clip. I think there were 2 that were open. That was during the morning. When I came into the kitchen in the afternoon, it looked like this. Like, so many of them are open, looking very beautiful. And I think it's just going to just bloom even more from here. There's so many that are so close. You can see a lot of these are just so close to being fully open. And then there are some that are fully open. So that's what that looks like. The lilac has changed quite a bit too. Again, I don't know if I'm going to get just leaves or if I will get blossoms from the lilacs. There's still plenty of buds here on the Forsythia that are going to open, so we'll see how long this lasts. I will say that the bush that I got these from, the Forsythia bush, it's still very dormant. There's not any sign of color on it, but in my town there are other Forsythia bushes that are starting to show just a little bit. Not quite even this much, but just a little bit of yellow, so I don't know if they just get more sun or maybe more protected or something. But the Forsythia is definitely coming alive, and the lilac is doing something. You see that outside? We got some sleet overnight. But indoors, it's springtime, early spring. I think pretty much every Forsythia branch is significantly blooming, so that's super nice. I'm curious to see how long this lasts, like how long they last. And I'll keep an eye on them and let you know. But they look really nice. I think if I were going to do this as a bouquet, I would put either a lot in or put them with something else, because they still kind of look just like a jar full of sticks right now. But if I think I took the time to make it look nice, this is a really nice way to bring some bright, cheerful, yellow spring flowers indoors. Yeah, how can that not make you happy to walk down and see that in your kitchen in the morning? And ooh, what do I see up here? Looks like a little lilac bud. Still very unsure about the lilacs, but they're waking up, they're greening up, they're blooming. I'm just not sure if I'll get flowers, but anyway, the Forsythias are really pretty. Alright, so here are the Forsythia. I've had them in the house for almost 2 weeks, and for probably about the last week they've been fully open like this, and they're so pretty. They're not showing any signs of fading or wilting just yet. I did stop filling this with warm water. I was changing the water every day and putting warm water to kind of encourage them to wake up, but now I just top off the jar when they drink up all the water, and they drink a good amount of water. So I'm filling it up like every other day or so. I'm just putting regular, like, room temperature tap water in there. I haven't put anything in there, any food or anything like that for them. But that's the Forsythia, looking really nice. And then here's the lilac. They have changed quite a bit. They are opening up and the buds are starting to separate. So I'm still really curious of whether those are going to give us any flowers or not. So we have about 2, 4, 6, maybe 8 clusters or so. Alright, keep you updated. So I wanted to show you that the lilacs are starting to mature and open. These ones here at the top are very closed up. You can see these ones here are starting to kind of puff up and open. The Forsythia are still going strong. There's a few that have dropped off onto the counter, but overall they still look really, really nice. I think there was some more of the lilacs up here too. We'll focus. And they're starting to open up as well. Alright, this is what the lilacs look like today. They are opening, but they're white, and I don't notice any fragrance. So usually they're really pungent and a purple color. So I don't know, maybe they're just not getting enough nutrients with just the water. Interesting experiment. Alright, so here's a look at my blooming branches. They're looking kind of sad. I was going to take a short clip last night, but it was a little dark in here. They were just starting to droop, and when I came down this morning, they're just done. They're over it. They've had their run. It's been quite a few weeks that I've been enjoying them. There are some nicer blossoms back there too. Those are probably some that bloomed a little later, so they'll probably be fading pretty quickly here. But I would call this a success. They lasted a long time. They were very beautiful and cheerful, and I think if I were to cut them in a more strategic way, or like a more, I don't know, I'm not the best at flower arranging. I know that's a whole art form, but I think if you took your time and cut the branches that were shaped nicely or trimmed them in a way, it would look even nicer. But I think it was still really fun to have these bright, beautiful yellow blossoms in the middle of winter. Next year I'm going to try to cut them even earlier, maybe even, you know, first week in January or the end of December, and see how early I can cut them to have them blossom and have some beautiful yellow flowers for New Year's. That would be really nice. The lilacs, I'm going to have to say I either need to learn how to do this, like I need to learn what they need as far as maybe some fertilizer in the water, but I would call this a fail for this attempt. They are white. I don't understand why they're white, and they have no fragrance, and some of them are just drooping without even opening. The leaves are they're just not doing good. So I think that the lilacs they need the support of the full bush, and I think if I were to let it bloom outside and cut it, I could bring them in and have, you know, cut blossom branches or, you know, lilac branches in the house in a few weeks when it blooms. But for now, I would say forcing the lilacs, not worth it. The Forsythia is definitely worth it. All right, if you have any experience or opinions about forcing Forsythias and lilacs or other flowering branches, I'd love to hear them in the comments. I will be playing around with this for the next few winters for sure, because this was a lot of fun. All right, thanks for watching. I'll see you guys next time. Bye!